Yes, good evening, board members and staff and community and students. Thank you all for being here at this public meeting this evening, April 19th, 2022. I'd like to invite Mr. Roger Campos to lead us in our invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiances.
Or you can please stand. Lord, may your goodness and love be present among us today. Come bless our meeting with unity, hope, and vision. We pray for unity and build in us all a deep respect for one another. Help us to enjoy doing good and supporting and encouraging one another. Help us so that we may enhance the future of those of whose lives we touch. May our present meeting bring blessing for the future. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next up we have recognition.
Yes, ma'am. We do have some recognitions this evening. We're going to recognize some of our students of the month, and I see we have our campuses represented and some of our students here. So I turn it back over to Ms. Jennifer Collier, who's going to lead us in our recognitions this evening.
Thank you. First up is Jariah Valdez from Spicewood Park Elementary. Please come up. No? I thought they were here. Let's have, next up is Adia Rodriguez. Come on, step up. She is our first student of the month, a fifth grade student at Southwest Elementary School. Adia has excellent attendance, a great work ethic, and has been an exemplary student. She is kind and helpful to all her peers. Her favorite subject in school is writing, and she has represented Southwest Elementary in the AAA competition in the creative writing category for a number of years. In her free time, she loves drawing and doing arts and crafts. She also loves animals and is interested in volunteer opportunities to help work with animals in local animal shelters. Congratulations. Resnick Middle School Student of the Month is Houston Kirkendall. Please come up. Houston is an all-around model student academically, athletically, and in the fine arts. Houston has maintained an A honor roll status every 9 weeks. He is an Algebra 1 honor student and has met the criteria for dual credit enrollment at Southwest Legacy High School. Houston is a band member and plays the saxophone. He has applied for the UTSA Band Camp Scholarship. As a student athlete, Houston coaches report positive comments of his behavior on and off the field. He exhibits a never-give-up attitude and keeps on pushing through his workouts no matter how tired he may be. Houston is a model student for Resnick Middle School and Southwest ISD. Congratulations. Andrew Hill, please come up. Andrew is a 10th grader at Castem High School. He is the oldest of 6 siblings. He continues to be a meticulous student and constantly strives for excellence in all of his courses. Although Andrew is known to be quiet, he has proven himself a leader on campus, being an active member in several student organizations, such as Academic Decathlon, where he earned a bronze medal in literature. Andrew is an intelligent, responsible, and respectful student. His work ethic and polished presence really demonstrates the Castem ideal and illustrates the versatility that he has as a student, brother, and friend. Castem is proud to recognize Andrew and congratulate him on his academic, extracurricular, and personal successes this year. Congratulations. Want to take the group photo? Yeah.
Can you go on the other side too tall?
Everybody else, want to take a picture?
So every month, we take the time, and we thank our board for taking the time to recognize our students of the month. And we know that your names come through, your teachers and faculty, and and your principals make those decisions along with your faculty to recognize you. I'd also like to ask our principals who are here being represented, if our principals would please stand and thank you for your leadership and your campus. I'd also like to ask our families, our mothers and fathers and aunts, uncles, grandparents, if you happen to be here, if these are your children, would you please stand and let us recognize you? You know, behind students are among the families this is the hard part. They have to come up here and let everyone stare at them. We make them do that because we know these are students who are going to be leaders in their own right through their school and beyond their years at school. So congratulations for being identified as Students of the Month and letting us recognize you for that. And we're very proud of each and every one of you. So give them a round of applause again. Thank you. And I'm sure we have another one who's going to arrive. When they arrive, we'll ask Madam Vice President if she'll stop so we can recognize them.
Awesome. Thank you.
And that's concluded our recognition.
Okay. We're moving on to item 4. Do we have anybody signed up to speak, Mr. Rodriguez? No. Okay. On to, you want to wait?
Well, I think we'll just stop here.
Okay.
And recognize them.
All right, we're going to take a few minutes, and if you'd like to leave, as Sylvester said, the assignment by now. So parents, if you'd like to leave, you're welcome to leave. If you'd like to stay, you can stay. We'll take a few minutes.
So have a great evening. Thank you for coming and letting us recognize you tonight. Thank you.
Did he answer me? It's not like him.
That concludes our recognition.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna move on to the consent agenda, number 5. Board members, you've had that to look over. Do we have any questions?
I got a question on the amendment. What's concerns for the amendment for this time?
I did a big budget amendment to move funds to help cover some, I would say, federal facilities and maintenance budget. We had a lot of expenses, our products a lot more than they cost last year, so I had to move some money around in there. I know that campuses, April is the deadline for them to spend their budgets, so that we can get everything in May before they leave for the summer. So a lot of campuses are moving their monies around to cover supplies, PD, stuff that they're gonna do this summer. So that's pretty much the big part of the budget.
And Head Start contract, it says for February 22nd. Is that something that we do?
We do it yearly, but the way the Head Start contract works, it starts from February and it goes all the way to the end of January. So it doesn't meet our fiscal year, but for us, it's the way it runs. So we still receive the funds, so we have to be closed out by the end of January when we start the new contract with them. And they give us our allotment, so we use half of it to cover the rest of this year, and the rest of it covers till next January when we get the contract.
Okay, I move.
Okay, Mr. Bernal motions, Ms. Garza Lopez seconds. Any other questions? All those in favor say yes.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, motion carries. Moving on to item 5, items of information. I'm sorry, 6. Yep, 6 items of information.
Yes, we have a couple of presentations. Brandon will give some.
I have Mr. Rojas gonna come up and give us an update. We have a couple teams here that's gonna talk about some of their major projects or bomb projects, so we'll start with that tomorrow. And I know in front of you, probably have a little handy handout here to help us guide you, and so I'm gonna turn it over to Rafael.
And I'm going to present Pat Cleveland with Joris. He's our site superintendent, and Sean Bacon with Marmor Mock to give us the construction update for the new Southwest ISD Aquatic Center.
Thank you. Well, good evening. Thank you very much. Pat is the one that really makes it all happen, so I want y'all to understand that building's getting built real quick as it can, because this man is pushing his subs and these materials suppliers. So I've got to put hats out on this gentleman right here. So had to make that distinction. Yes, here we are. We're approximately 80% complete. This pay app is from about a week and a half ago, so we're marching down the road. We are looking at a change in date. Yes, you do see that. And Rafael will bring that up to you here for substantial completion. He'll bring that up to you for review and discussion. Here we are. A lot of the stuff that you don't see when you drive by. But if you've driven by in the last couple of days, you're going to start to see that it actually is closing in. Not from the top to the side as well. We're finally able to move on some of these items. Materials are not as much of a problem now. I think we've gotten through a majority of those issues. Still a little bit on paint, but we don't think that's going to be a hiccup from where we are at this moment. We continue with the MEP rough ends, all of the mechanical ceiling work, MEP work. We're actually already punching on those items. So Pat is calling us out every other couple of days to get out there and start punching these ceilings. So that's another good sign that we're nearing the end. Some of the major things that are going on, the roofing, the siding, the pool deck and such, that's actually going in. So we'll be starting the lining on the pool itself as well. Our consultant on that project for the Murtha will be coming down here for her third visit, so it's moving. You gotta be in there now to start to see where everything is. Okay, so here's some aerials. This is about a week old aerial, so what you don't see yet is the translucent panel going in, and that starts pretty darn soon.
This Friday, we'll hoist them up with the crane and start that one.
And what you'll see right now is, whoops, I don't know where the mouse is. You'll see on this side, if you drive by, the paneling is already up on this side, so they're moving. Kind of going around the facility, and actually, when are you gonna start asphalt work? That's not too far from now.
Asphalt work scheduled for June 1st, approximately. All of our trailers you see in the parking lot should all be gone.
A lot of these pictures are about a week old, so a lot of this deck is already poured. There's only one more section of deck to be poured, if it's correct. It's the southern side. And then we'll be able to walk around the pool without tripping over rebar. As you can see, the mechanical, you can see a lot of these hard ceilings are being inspected at this point, but they're also being, matter of fact, I'm going out there tomorrow to inspect a ceiling that's been installed. So again, good signs that we're closing up. And then some finishes, oops, I'm sorry, I thought I had one more. But here we are showing that nothing's holding us up. Pat is pushing these guys to get the materials installed and moving on down the road.
Starting flooring tomorrow, residence flooring, right behind this tile, so we can start installing fixtures, partitions, whatever it may be.
And final grading is starting not too long from now, too.
As far as final grading outside, we've started a lot of the sidewalk, the front entry, a lot of that'll pour next week. Irrigation will also start next week, and landscape. So there's a lot of outdoor activities ongoing also.
Any questions?
And so tonight, Rafael's gonna bring a background, to have the board approve a change order. There'll be change order 1 to this project, which is gonna move this to substantial completion date. For July 8th.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
July 8th, and now, hopefully by then, we'll have everything ordered, start moving equipment in, and then shoot for a grand opening, August 5th. So it'll be exciting.
So we'll be here before we know.
We'll hold somebody accountable for that.
Thank you
It's
so
coming
much.
along really good, so here in the future, when we get closer to everything broke in and closed in, maybe we can bring the board out there so you can do a walkthrough to see kind of like where we're at. It's really looking really great. So something to be really proud of.
Thank
All right. Now moving to our other project, the transportation renovation. The rear part of the building was what was being remodeled. It's now complete. We should be getting the certificate of occupancy for that rear portion by the end of the day tomorrow. So most of it has been waxed and cleaned for staff to move back to the building and their offices as of Monday. So these are some of the pictures I would like to show you guys on the last one. We bring the final ones, the before and after. So you see really the change that this renovation did to this building. This is the third bay that we added to the project to be used as their tire shop. That's complete as well. The overhead door has been installed. And the other item that's pending is the bus wash. Right now, it's being tested. They're gonna program it, so we have about a week of programming. That means bringing the actual physical vehicles and buses so that the company can program them, and we should be ready to use it in about 2 weeks, so.
What was the fix for that spring that y'all,
So it gets flowable fill. We
Okay.
have a concrete base to sit that basin in, so it doesn't move. So
Okay.
what we did, we actually added flowable fill, which is a concrete slurry throughout
okay.
that opening. So. Any other questions for the transportation?
You know, I just wanted to share with you, because I think we shared last time, this will be, as of August
Awesome.
Yeah, I did what you said. I don't know about a few, but we'll get ready for the next one. Okay, thank you.
The last thing is, Thomas is gonna get a quick update on our playground project, just to kind of give you a timeline and what, I don't know if you drove by Southwest Elementary, you see in there, good work yet, so it's gonna be exciting.
Yes, as Mr. Crisp said, that we started at Southwest Elementary. The schedule plan is Southwest Elementary, Sun Valley, and Big Country. Those are the three schools that have the canopies already existing. All of the canopies for the other schools have been ordered and are on their way. We're at about a 12-week lead time to get the powder coating poles and all the canopy covers. So if we get to a point where we've finished Southwest Elementary, Sun Valley, and Big Country, and move to the next school and the canopies aren't here and installed, we have a plan for them to put in the bolts that hold down the canopy legs and all the footings inside. They'll cover it with the turf, and then once the canopies show up, they'll drop back and put the canopies in. So if you see it tonight or tomorrow when you have a chance, they are scheduled to pour Thursday morning at Southwest Elementary for the concrete flat work that goes underneath the surfacing, and then the surfacing will shortly follow. I think they have to give it a 7-day period for the concrete to cure completely before they can start putting the surfacing down. And then once the concrete guys move from here, they're going to start at Sun Valley, and we'll just kind of keep moving one school at a time until we finish this summer.
Thank you, Tom.
I've only had one parent call me asking why we waited until now to do it, and after I explained to him the situation, he was okay. So, any questions?
For now on, when I get phone calls, I'm gonna send them to you, Tom. Okay, thank you. Okay. Anything
I
else?
just want to say thank you to Pat, I know Mr. Bacon, they worked really hard, but you guys really have put that project moving, so thanks so much. Everything you've done.
That's all the updates, sir.
Okay, thank you. Monthly tax report,
Yes, sir, this time last year we were at, right at over 92%, we're right over 92% right now as well, so it's been really good on the collection.
like
We shoot for
.16 better.
99.5%, that's our overall goal, but we had a few months getting all the way up to probably September to finalize it. We're on track.
Any questions? Monthly financial report, investment report, you've had that before you. Any questions there? Reports on gifts and bequests. Enrollment report. Any comments? No?
No, sir.
Okay.
We continue to work on our attendance, our daily attendance, and it's a challenge in all school districts. I know that we are really kind of getting into the weeds of what that looks like, and get more students coming to school is our challenge. It's our problem of practice that we're working on for this year, but also in preparation for next year coming back full time.
Thank you. Purchases over 50,000. Calendar of events. Board of Trustees Continuing Education Report. Mona, are you going to read it? I have it. Page 136.
So Mona's going, annually, we have to report out
Mona's going to
where
read
our
that.
board members are at with their annual professional development. And so this meets the criteria, has to be done before the next school board election. So Mona will go by each individual board member and report out their status.
Board members are required to participate in training each year. In a non-legislative year, members are required to earn 8 hours of credit. New members have additional requirements and must attend 16 hours of training. Below is the current status of the training requirements. Tier 1, which is for new board members, orientation and updates. Daniel Creel has completed new board member required training. Tier 2 is a team of 8 with the superintendent and the board. We have that annually. Right now, the board members and the superintendent plan to schedule a training this summer. We have until the end of July. Tier 3 is continuing education, like your TASB and your summer leadership and that. So, all the following board members have met or exceeded their continuing education. Florinda Bernal exceeded, Daniel Carrillo exceeded, Pete Bernal exceeded, Yolanda Garza Lopez has exceeded, Ida Sedell has exceeded, James Sullivan exceeded, and Sylvester Vasquez Jr. exceeded. So everybody has completed and exceeded.
Questions, anyone?
An exceeding group.
Thank you. Okay, strategic planning update. See Francis standing up, so.
To be the lucky
She
winner
ready.
today.
We also have some external guests who are with us, JG Consulting, who've just been really great partners and key partners throughout the process. So Francis is our COC on this endeavor, the big endeavor that kind of outlines our strategic plan for the next 5 years. And so we're going to give a status report where we are with the expectation that we're bringing this to the board for final approval in June 2022.
Francis?
Hi, good evening, and like Dr. Versa says, I have my trusted group over here, our consultants from JG Consultant, and we're gonna go ahead and give you an update. You should have had a PowerPoint at your desk and also a sheet, so I'm just gonna quickly go over that with you. So just an update on our timeline currently. As you know, spring of 2021, we went ahead and hired the consulting group. They were able to complete focus group members with parents, community members, teachers, admin, staff, board members. You guys were also a part of that group. They created a draft copy of their goals and our strategic actions. Those copies were then sent to other divisional groups, departments, senior staff, and also our district DIT, which has parents, community, businesses, and teacher representatives on it. Pending right now, we have our presentation tonight, which we will ask for any comments and feedback that you need to provide for us as you review this. We will also be taking this to the large parent meeting that we have in mid-May, which usually has about 80 to 100 parents attend, both English and Spanish. And then we will also take this to all district leaders, which is anybody that's a director and higher will be able to review it in addition, and other established committees that haven't seen it already. We will finalize these district actions by end of May and then complete our scorecard, which I'll show you in just a minute. We hope to finalize this plan and bring it before the board in June. So, how did we begin? What we wanted to do is ensure that our strategic plan was not something on the aside of what we've already committed to. We have our commitments. We have a commitment to growth, a commitment to service, and a commitment to results. So we wanted to make sure that we embody that and align our work so it's not something separate, because if it's separate, people will not finish it. So we wanted to make sure we incorporated where we've moved with Holsworth in the last 5 years. In doing so, we've created a district strategic plan with 3 goals. And we'll go into those in just a second. In addition to that, we wanted to make sure that we were held accountable to our goals. And so what we've added that you didn't have in your last strategic plan was actually a scorecard that will be reviewed annually. And this will go out and be posted for the community to view. So that part is not ready yet because we haven't brought our goals to you. Once we approve the goals, then we will make the scorecard to be measurable from there. But I'll give you an example of what one could look like. So let's look at goal number 1. So goal number 1 is Southwest ISD will prioritize teaching and learning to ensure the highest quality of instruction and continue the commitment to results for student success. Underneath that, we have 3 strategic actions that will take place. And so they're to ensure access to data-driven, research-based practices and resources for student learning outcomes. They will continue to explore innovative experiences to equip students with universal and functional skills to thrive in a competitive global marketplace. And lastly, to nurture the expertise of district staff, parents, community members, where all members are valued, appreciated, and celebrated. Goal number 2
is Southwest ISD will attract and retain highly qualified staff and teachers through developing and supporting our commitment to growth. And so this one really will target how we grow our own. And so we will ensure high-quality practices are in place to recruit, retain, and build the capacity of staff members and their positions. We will cultivate and sustain a culture of inclusion, and that also includes the equity portion of that, and collaboration. And we will recognize and value employees and their performance through opportunities and giving them effective feedback. Goal number 3 will be Southwest ISD will support school community to build cooperative relationships and partnerships through a commitment to service. And so there we will utilize effective systems and processes to connect with parents, staff, the community, and partners. We will also consistently develop and implement standards to guide and direct the effectiveness of district communication. And lastly, we will build trusting relationships with our families and community through welcoming two-way communication, improving partnerships, and providing authentic, engaging experiences for all. So those are the 3 goals that we bring to you. So it's really 9 total strategic actions, not like our old plan that had so many that we could not remember them. We wanted to make sure it aligned with what we were already doing. After we have these goals approved, we will take that and put it in the form of a scorecard. And so the scorecard I put up there is kind of our running one that we do in AHR. So this one is to retain highly qualified staff and teachers. So a school scorecard may look like how many teachers stayed in the district from year to year, and what did we do, and what exit interviews did we get to elicit information from people who left to ensure that we are doing everything possible to improve the district conditions so people want to stay. When teachers stay in their positions and they learn over time, we get more experienced teachers and we have high quality success. So that's something that the state also recognizes and looks through for the accountability measures. So we want to measure those same things. But instead of just doing staff, we want to do all staff members because we want everybody to feel important here at Southwest ISD. So we would have a report card that would have a baseline where we're starting, and then through the year 2025-26, we would have a measure to see if we're increasing that or decreasing that, and then take actions to improve that measure to make sure that our parents know that the things that we count as our goals are important to us. So we have brought our consultants here in case you have any questions. Gentlemen, do you have any feedback or anything that you would like to share? Come on.
Thank you, Francis. Really, I guess, speaking on behalf of our team, we want to thank Dr. V. Of course, Francis has been great to work with, especially the board. It's been a pleasure working for this school system, working with individuals, talking to your teachers, administrators, parents, the entire community, basically. But we've really been pleased with the outcomes that we've seen. You know, we provided you information at the beginning that you've really taken as a springboard, and you're moving forward just as we expected, which is a wonderful thing. So we'd like to see this document, as you do, to become a living, breathing document that you really look at each year multiple times. It's not just sitting on a shelf where you can monitor your growth, monitor your progress, tweak things as you go, but it's just been a pleasure to work with your school system. We thank you so much.
So the difference with this plan too is going to be this scorecard that we're going to be able to share with the community every year. And so that's where we're really going to need board input. We're in the process now of going through. You see the strategic actions. Underneath each action is going to be at least 1 to several milestones. Let's say, are we improving the number of students who are challenging dual credit? Are they challenging rigor? This is our goal in 5 years, and are we moving that direction? And so that's what we're adding this mechanism that says hold us accountable for what happens in the system every year, because I think that's what we heard from our board, which makes it a living, breathing document. It doesn't sit on the shelf, because it's always going to be reportable every year. And so I know that's a piece that we're going to bring back with our best thinking, and then in a brown bag, we want to give it to board members and have you all look at that to see if you agree with them, or you want to add some elements that you think we should be reporting out annual to our school communities. And so I just want to thank you guys. You guys have been great. Have the honor of knowing Steve for a long time, and he brought his expertise into the district. The work you guys did on the front end, really, with the focus groups and the surveys and extrapolating information from a lot of committee members, students, meeting with our trustees in small groups has been very beneficial as we kind of work through this process and plan. It's a journey. It's not an action that happens one week. And so it's been a really good journey, and we think it's going to be a really good thing to keep what we need to keep on the burner all the time as we work together to make Southwest ISD better every day and every month moving forward.
My question is, are we working with demographics, like the other people that we bring in for demographics, the growth and stuff, to work with them to also get involved with how many people are actually moving into our community and foreseeable bigger growth? Because it's where it says committed to growth, I want to make sure that we're like grasping the whole growth aspect of our community. I don't know if you're, because I know we just had some kind of presentation a while back where we were hitting 7% growth, and then it may be a little bit bigger after this year. I just want to know if they're collaborating with those people so we could see those results kind of mix in with those.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna answer that because I get to sit on all these little committee groups. So, unfortunately, not specifically to that. What we found out when we had our goals, and kind of like what we had with our last 2021 goal, we had too many goals. We had so many goals, people were trying to be pulled in all different directions. We have a different committee that's working on our growth and our enrollment and making sure that that happens. For this will be what we follow for the next 5 to 6 years to 2026. And the goals that are specific are gonna be the measurable goals for that. So we have a different committee working on enrollment. And this one will be making sure that we build wonderful partnerships with parents so the word gets out from parent to parent. You want to go to Southwest. We have great communication. We're going to do the foundational work to ensure that when people walk in our door, they want to stay here and become part of our family. So that's the part that we're going to work with. And then Brandon's group has another group that works with demographic, and Jesse's group and Jenny's group works with trying to get our brand out. So it'll be a different type of group for that.
And Francis, if I'm not mistaken, these mission, vision, goals are whether we have 15,000 families or whether we have 20,000 families.
Correct.
They will apply to all of our people, all of our community.
Our first rendition of this was so specific, it was actually the milestone. We were like, we want more teachers to, oh no, that's not our vision. Our vision is we build the capacity to improve everybody's PD, their learning, their on-the-job training, so that they want to stay, they feel important to stay here. And one of the outcomes will be that teachers will want to stay here too. So we want to make sure it's a big global goal, broad enough to incorporate everybody, but it meets the needs of anything that might potentially happen in the next couple of years.
Thank you.
So do you see a foreseeable committee for like service, growth, or to the results?
We actually have, so like goal 1 is structured really under CNI. It's instructional based. It's about the culture of learning that's happening. The second one is a lot about AHR and how we build our pipelines and make sure that people get PD, evaluations, effective feedback in their job no matter what they do. And the third one is really an operationals and communications collaboration together. So there's really 3 different committees working at all times. And then we have talked about this for the last, since January, over and over again. So the committee will be alive. It'll be a living thing. And now that we have a scorecard, it's like our report card, we'll make sure that we score well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? If you have any other comments, I can also take them later.
Are they done? Okay.
Lonnie, you want to say anything real quick?
Just real quick, kind of piggybacking off what Mike said, is that we are so grateful for this opportunity to work with y'all. From the outset, those focus groups, that just was the catalyst to ignite this whole process, and just the openness that y'all welcomed us. And now to see, it excites all of us on the committee to see y'all taking it and going with it, and which is where we want to be. And so So as we want to thank you on behalf of JG Consulting for this great opportunity. And you've got some great things in place, and you're on your way. You're still here.
And I promise I'll be brief. Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board and, Superintendent Verstuff. Every single time that I come to a board meeting, I think I'm supposed to be seated up there somewhere. But then I realize the business at hand, and I think, you know what, y'all are better suited for that. I'm enjoying retirement. But, today, as my colleagues have stated, we definitely have enjoyed the process of coming to Southwest ISD. Why? Because you are family. And we understand that the future of our democracy is contingent upon how well we educate students in Southwest ISD and throughout all our public schools. And the dream and desire that you can do with a strategic plan such as this, as was Francis has pointed out, it was great work on behalf of, the commendation that Superintendent Verstuff gave us. We just had dinner and we were commending this staff in this district because what we talked last on December 7th to get to this point now, it just gets better and better and better. So any opportunity, and no, we're not specifically with the demographic study, but if there's any way we can help, anything we can do, JG Consulting stands ready to assist because we're excited about the future of Southwest ISD. So thank you so very much for allowing us to be a big part of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Okay, Southwest ISD local wellness policy, FFA local.
Yes, sir. Tonight I have Katie Mahoney from Child Nutrition Department. Although this is not strictly a Child Nutrition Department wellness policy, it's a district wellness policy, and we are required to have one. So if you go to CE local policy, you'll see that we adopted one in 2016 with board approval, basically off the recommendations of the SHAC. And within that, not to steal Katie's thunder, we have to, every 3 years, Katie?
3 years.
Every 3 years do an assessment on our wellness policy. And due to COVID, we were actually able to do a waiver. And so we recently had to take the assessment. And so Katie's here to kind of share kind of the highlighted view of why we take the assessment, because it's really required for compliance purposes, but at the same time, what were the results and what actions are we going to take to strengthen our local wellness policy? So let's turn it over to Katie. Hopefully I didn't say everything that you were going to say.
No, that was an excellent segue. So, good evening, Katie Mahoney with the Nutrition Department, and I'm speaking and presenting this on behalf, basically, of the SHAC. So, like Mr. Crisp said, every 3 years we have to do a triennial assessment for our local wellness policy. So, this time around, actually, this is the first time we've done it since the adoption of our most recent wellness policy. I used the WellSat 3.0 assessment tool, which is a website that is specifically built to assess local wellness policies across the nation. And so what this does is it takes best practices and model policies based on national standards, and you input your information based on the language of your wellness policy, and it gives you a score as to how your policy compares to best practices. So has to be completed every 3 years, and input and involvement was gathered from the SHAC committee members, and like I said, I'm here on their behalf presenting this. So these are the results, and what I want you to understand about this graph is that it looks like, okay, we're failing some areas and we're really succeeding in some areas. But what this is telling us is that like nutrition education and wellness promotion and marketing, where we have the lower scores, what that is, it's a score of how detailed and how comprehensive the language of the local wellness policy is. So it's not that we are doing poorly in these areas or that the schools are not doing well. It's just what does the policy actually say? So this is an assessment of how detailed or how vague the language is. So for instance, the standards for USDA school meals, which is what we're in charge of, we're a little bit stronger there. The physical education and physical activity, very high. That just means that we have a little bit more specific language in the policy regarding that. So our evaluation piece there at the very end, you can see that we're meeting and we're specific and we're right where we need to be in the policy for that. So I'm going to show you the actual
numerical scores here. So this is based on a score of 0 to 100. It's not a pass-fail. It's just it's best to think of it as specific versus vague. But if you look at the very bottom, it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can move this. So this is our district total. So our comprehensive score is 61, our strength is 49. The national average is 54 and 33. So we're actually doing a little better than the national average when it comes to these scores. We still have some areas that we can improve upon. And so going forward, the next steps that I would like to see is that I've been talking with Sandy Hernandez, who is in, she's in the athletics department. She's really been heading up the Shack and doing a great job. Is that we establish a subcommittee for this wellness policy because it is so comprehensive and it involves the campuses and different departments. We're also going to use the results of this assessment to update and strengthen the local wellness policy. We'll come back to the Shack, have the Shack agree on the updated policy, and then present it to you as the board for approval. And then going forward, we'll update the local wellness plan, which I won't get into that, but that's mainly the administrative regulations based on the policy. I'd like to start reviewing the policy annually with the Shack, and then at the next triennial assessment, so in 3 years from now, I would like to include what we're doing at the campus level. So at each campus, how are they implementing the wellness policy so that we can assess what's actually going on versus what's just written in the policy. Are there any questions?
And I apologize, I didn't say CE local, it's FFA local, Francis.
So just a quick question. You're
Yes.
basically creating a framework by which the schools can implement the wellness policy?
Yeah, so that is actually the wellness plan. So the wellness policy is kind of the umbrella, and the wellness plan is all the regulations that the schools have to follow when it comes to classroom parties or fundraisers, but it's supported by the policy.
So the wellness policy is board policy.
Yes.
So FFA board
So that's in
policy.
place.
Yes.
So in 2016, we, through the Shack, because we were required to,
Right.
the board adopted our local wellness policy. From there, they created a wellness plan. Just
Okay.
like we do an admin regulation.
Yes.
And we have to assess it, so that's just what we just went through. So now they have new data to show how we need to strengthen board policy.
Right.
And then when they strengthen board policy, help strengthen.
To make it more specific?
Implementation.
Got it.
Instead of saying.
Based on the plan.
You know, instead of saying we're gonna have physical activity, okay.
We're gonna have physical 3 times a week and,
Right.
Exactly.
got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So can you touch on real quick,
Yes.
those opportunities for the growth that we're going to concentrate on?
Yes, so as far as nutrition education, we did, as a district, adopt Catch. So I'd like to take what we're doing with Catch in the middle school and elementary schools and integrate that more into the cafeteria, into what they're doing and, if they're coming through the lunch lines, getting up more nutrition promotion in the cafeterias, really trying to not just show the students like how to eat healthy, but giving them visuals and things that are going to catch their attention. And so there's some ways we can do this, not only in the cafeteria, but in the serving line where we can kind of teach them, okay, this is what you're learning in Catch. Well, here is how it goes into play when you're coming through the line. Here are some healthy options that you're learning about in school. So that's the first thing on my mind that we could really make an impact with, is to bring that into the classroom of the cafeteria.
And that's gonna be on the nutritional side, then there's also a physical activity
Right.
side, there's wellness side, and that's why the Shack is made up of different groups, to come and bring some fresh ideas to really strengthen this policy.
And I will say the Shack is always looking for members, so if there's anybody that has a vested interest in wellness or anything like that, students, parents, community members, we would love to have anybody that's, that would love to have an input or a say in this. Okay. All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7 we'll do after item 11. Item 8, Administrative and Human Resources, consider approval of revision of Board Policy DCB Local.
We're asking to do this in one reading, correct?
Say that one time?
We're gonna do this in one reading?
in one reading. So, we have an annual review of policy that we reviewed with our legal counsel, and this was one that was brought to our attention. We're about to, push out next month the contract, so this we're gonna have to do in one reading. But we wanted you to be aware that we, have made sure that we've done our due diligence. We have pulled this, particular, policy from districts that are nearest, next door in the districts around us to make sure that we align. And this is also something that our legal has asked us to consider. So we're gonna bring it to you, and I have Ms. Baker who will explain it to you in more depth.
President Vasquez, board members, thank you. We're looking at policy DCB local, which really governs who we give what are called Chapter 21 contracts to. And those are the contracts by law that we give to folks that hold certifications, teachers, librarians, and so forth. We noticed that in our policy, we have an extra statement that's put at the bottom of, that kind of limits us, and that it really makes us give these contracts to pretty much everybody on a professional pay scale. And what we're finding is as we're adding different kinds of jobs, especially grant-funded positions, that those contracts aren't always the most appropriate kind of contract to give. So what we'd just like to do is drop the section about giving educator term contracts to positions that don't require SBEC certification, just so that the district has the flexibility to give those contracts and not tie the district to certain processes that go with the Chapter 21 contract.
So we don't want to teach, are they teachers?
No, these would be, all teachers have a right to the Chapter 21.
Okay.
Which gives, when it's a term, it gives them certain appeal rights should we move forward to try to non-renew the contract. However, other positions, like professional positions, say a grant-funded position that we have checking on truancy, for example.
Okay.
They don't require a certification for that position.
Okay, I see.
And
Professional, but not
we want to give them
teacher.
the most appropriate contract tied to their position.
Okay. And then they would not be protected, or we could fire them anytime?
No, they would still have
They
their
would still
contract
have the
rights.
year.
Still have their contract rights.
They just can't appeal?
It's different types of appeal that they have.
Okay.
They still receive their due process. This is nothing that we're gonna do, but what we have is we have one-year contracts and one-year grants with people. And then we're offering them the same thing that we give to somebody who's gone through 4 years of college, who has a certification, taken a test. That is not applicable to everybody. So we
Okay.
wanna make sure we streamline it, we clean it. We reviewed other districts. We have copies of all of their plans. We're the only one that has that extra
Okay.
line, and that really ties our hands with what happens after a grant ends, or what
Okay.
happens to certain positions that should receive this type of protection like teachers receive.
Got it. Okay.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, the board approve proposed change to DCB local. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Consider approval of the District Innovation Committee members' plan.
So, we are getting ready to look through our District of Innovation Plan again, and bring it back to the board. But before we do that, we have to formally approve a committee. So you received a list of the committee members from our formal, from 2017. Almost half of the committee members are no longer with us. They have left the district, been promoted, went on in some other way, or don't want to be on the committee anymore. And so what we're asking is for you to approve the new list. We've made sure it's very comparable, it is very diverse, it has people from all aspects to sit in, and so that we can go ahead and finish the work to bring to you the District of Innovation Plan and post it so that everybody in our community, including our staff and teachers, are able to review it prior to approval.
What board members were on that before?
Adrian, do you have that list? Adrian is in charge of our District of Innovation Plan.
Yeah, we did. Remember, with Sarah?
Sarah McAndrew was in charge of it at that time.
It was really, it was nice.
I had one meeting.
What is that innovation?
I had a big folder.
What is this innovation committee? What is it? Just being a new board member, just asking, how does this, like, what does this entail?
For our district, we have, the one that is currently there, provides us the opportunity to give flexibility For example, if I have somebody who's teaching as a professor in a university but does not have a teaching degree, we could still use them for dual credit. If somebody has worked in the field of a CTE, like welding, and they don't have a teacher certificate, we could still employ them here. It gives districts flexibility in changing the rules specifically to whatever is approved.
Oh,
The
okay.
other one would be changing of the calendar start dates. Things that we approved is making sure that we have flexibility in the 22 to 1, which we rarely use, and you can do in any district if you apply for a waiver. But sometimes by the time that we apply for the waiver, it's already corrected itself and somebody's moved out. This gives us a lot of flexibility. We will bring to you all of it for you to review first as an item of information. It has to be posted for a month prior to any movement to approve. So it'll have plenty of opportunity for teachers, staff, community members to review. And then we will also make sure that you have a first read of that before we bring it to you. for
Francis, can you explain to him what was the original intent that when the state created that?
I'll do that. So how it came about, as the fast expansion of charter schools were pretty much running rampant, still do, in the state of Texas, there's a lot of conversation about there's a different set of rules if you happen to belong to a charter system than a public school system. So one of the ways to provide, as Francis said, additional flexibilities to public school system was to create these opportunities for districts of innovation. So not every district does what's called a DOI. A lot of them have moved that direction. And what it does, it allows you to bring a group of people together, have conversation. There's a law that basically says that public schools can't start until the fourth Monday or the third Monday of August. But if your DOI says you want to start earlier, we put that in the plan, bring it to the board approves it, then we can use that flexibility. So just in a way to kind of sum it up, it's the opportunity that the TEA came up with to allow flexibility for public systems that charter schools are already getting.
That's awesome.
And so it was Mrs. Dalton, Ms. Bernal, and yourself.
You want to stay? Okay.
And so we just asked for the committee to be approved.
I move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, and a second, that committee, that the board members approve the committee as presented with no board members named at this time. That's what was presented.
We already have the one that Lloyd gave us.
Okay. Were they part of it? Okay. Okay, then,
There's some assignments.
We're still
Okay.
assigned to it.
The
Okay,
same ones.
We're still
so
assigned to it.
at this time, your motion is to approve the committee members participating in the renewal of the district innovation plan as presented and board members previously listed.
And that would be,
Would that be okay with you?
yes,
That's a
Yolanda,
premium.
Flo, and Ida.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I'm good, I'll move.
We have that motion. Is there a second?
I second.
There is a second. Any discussion, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. Consider approval of interlocal participation agreement, the IPA amendment for TASB Risk Management Fund Workers' Compensation Program. You again.
And we have Will again.
That's a long title.
Yes, we do. We're part of a fund, kind of like a buy board, if you will, for workers' comp insurance. And every 10 years or so, they look at the agreement that we have and come out with some revisions. They've asked us this year, in the past, they haven't asked us, but this time they've asked us to go before the board, present it to you, and ask for your approval to be part of this group, this fund that we access to get our workers' comp insurance.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that we approve the interlocal participation agreement between Southwest ISD and the TASB Risk Management Fund as amended by the fund effective May 1st, 2022. Any discussion? Hearing-
We've had this
Okay.
agreement for years, right? It's with the TASB Risk Management.
Yes, we've been with TASB, we're talking about that senior staff for multiple years, you're correct. They have a new element that says that they want a board action to approve how we procure it through this entity that's much like the live board. So-
And under the risk management fund, there are several other partnerships that we have with other people that are under them, or is it just them? I don't remember.
It's considered, it's like a pool.
It's like the cooperative,
Use
right?
their resource. It's a cooperative,
Okay.
so this is an interlocal agreement that joins the cooperative to be a part of, and it's their new guidelines for all, in every district, it's a part of it has to go with.
Okay.
It's
How did
going to
Mary
be
get out from present tonight?
She said she's standing by and ready, sir.
I heard Will tell her, watch this. Do you want to add anything, Mary, to it? I know you work in that every day.
It's just an interlocal agreement that we, ever since we came on board with TASB, the last renewal we had was back in 2012. And this agreement has to be renewed every 10 years. And so this is the very first time that they're requiring that it be presented to the board for their approval. Nothing changes. I'll come back in July and present the renewal for workers' comp, and I'll provide you all the information and all the claims data and all that good stuff.
Thank you, Mary.
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
I was about to
We're
ask
easy
you
to
that.
work with.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that, if we were, how satisfied we were with service.
You do good.
Are we required to do it? Is it something that's mandatory, or we do it,
We're hard to do it with somebody.
okay,
We have to
but
have
not
it.
with them, is what I'm
Yes.
saying. It's
I
not,
would bet good 80% of districts in the state of Texas
Okay.
are members.
thank you.
Okay, we have a motion, and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Mary. Okay, consider approval, under business and finance, consider approval of change order number 1, final to elementary gym HVAC and roof replacement project.
Good evening again. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
We're here to present, F.A. Nunley was a general contractor for this project, which is now complete. And we're bringing back the unused owner contingency funds in the amount of $204,590.41. LPA, together with SWISD staff, have generated the change order. This credit will go into the district bond funds. So here, we are recommended that we're recommending that the board approve change order number 1 to F.A. Nunley General Contractors to reduce their contract amount by $204,590.41.
Go, Raphael.
It wasn't me, sir. That's all Billy Hughes. He's not here.
Small and one building.
Right.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second, to approve the change order number 1. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, Reverend. Okay, do you have consider approval of change order number 1, the Southwest IC Aquatic Center?
Yes, sir. As we discussed earlier, due to market shortages, material shortages, rain delays, we are here to present a new substantial completion from April 1st to July 8th. Marmon Mock Architecture has prepared change order number 1 to extend the date of substantial completion to July 8th, 2022. So our recommendation is that the board approve change order number 1 to Joris General Contractors to add contract time and extend the date of substantial completion to July 8th, 2023.
I move.
I second.
We have a motion in 2 seconds that we approve the recommendation, change order number 1 to Joris in regards to the final completion date of July 8th for the Aquatic Center. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And consider approval of construction documents and procurement method for Sun Valley Elementary Site Renovation Project, RFCSP 2122-123.
Yes, sir. At the board meeting in March, March 22nd, the board approved CEC, which has recently changed to KCI, but it's the same company here in San Antonio, as the design or engineer of record for this project at Sun Valley. We, as you know, we've had water infiltration issues due to the poor soils at that campus, and they continue to be an issue. So they have put together construction documents for that project 100% to put out on the street for bid. We all have also worked with CEC and discussed that the request for competitive seal proposal is the best method for this project to get the best value for the district. We feel that there won't be just general contractors actually bidding on this. We'll actually have some subs that will do it as a prime because it's strictly site work outside the building. So it's open to everyone, but if you see there on the board background, it lists out the criteria. That's another thing that we have to have approved on the procurement method. So it's listed there. The construction estimate for this project, originally we thought it was around $500,000. Now that all the prices have gone up and everything, we're thinking that's more closer to $725,000. So this will be funded by the general fund. And our recommendation is to approve construction documents and the competitive seal proposal method for Sun Valley Elementary School site renovation project. The bid date is May 5th.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, the board approve the construction documents and competitive seal proposal method for Sun Valley Elementary, the site renovation project. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Consider approval of changes to the 2021-2022 compensation plan.
Yes, sir.
Brandon?
Back in August, if you recall, I brought a compensation plan. And in the compensation
This is
plan,
the-
this, not only will we pay salaries and stipends and other things, and anytime we change any kind of compensation, board needs to approve it. And I know, throughout, just research and looking in our market, today, in the world, we're faced with recruitment, we're faced with, challenges of staffing, and making sure we have high quality staff. More importantly, we want to keep the staff we have. We feel like it's a highly competitive world, there's shortages in all across, a lot of the fields and areas of the school district. We also know that, the outside, inflation that's rising right now, and so we're asking the board, to do another round of incentive stipend for the end of the school year. And that would include all full-time employees to receive $1,000 at the end of the first week of June. Any part-time employee that works 15 hours from a certain criteria, a certain time period, that they would receive $500, and then our substitutes. And based on how many days they work from January to May, there's different thresholds there of what we want to pay them. On the other side of this, we have on here we're looking to recruit for summer programming, especially in the fields of bus drivers, bus aides, and child nutrition staff. We allow them to keep their rate, the daily rate that we pay them now. So we wanted to incentivize them to join us for the summer school programming by giving them a chance to earn some attendance stipends. So if they're here 100%, we would pay them a stipend of $350 for all bus drivers and cafeteria staff, and then $150 for all aides that would show up. So tonight we're asking the board to approve the changes to the compensation plan.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second, the board approve the retention and attendance stipends as presented. Any questions?
For the bus aides and the bus drivers, are they gonna have some type of fair selection process?
Right now we take applications, and if we get a lot of applications, they're gonna go through, we'll have a practice to make sure it's fair.
Cause I don't wanna start getting the
No,
complaints. The same people get these jobs and we want to
And
be
I understand
included,
it. We really never had that problem in the summer. Because right now, that's why we're doing this, is because we need probably about 15 to 20 more bus drivers and cafeteria staff, because of the scale. Because right now, we're having 9 sites, and so this summer, we actually have we need more bus drivers, bus aides, and child nutrition staff, to cover all this.
And this includes janitorial staff, across the board.
Yeah, well, the retention's, the
The
stipend does, the major one, the first one covers everything. The attendance stipend is strictly for summer school for at least 3 groups that we're trying to recruit.
So we know that attrition's gonna be at the highest rate it's been at for years, and We think this is gonna be a really great retention. Folks don't have to drive more than 10 miles to find a job in education. There's a job open every campus, so we see it happening in our data, and we think that this can be really a catalyst that can kind of minimize some of that, so that we can keep the majority of teachers in our classroom. So it's gonna be it's gonna work some things. We also know they're getting hit with inflation and burnout, and it'd be nice for all of the employees to know that we're doing all we can to help them in that regard, and we think more people are gonna stay in Southwest ISD because of that action.
And when is the stipend gonna be paid?
We're
The
looking at
agenda
the
that we
first
have
week
out
of
there
June.
for people
I
to
was
see.
hoping it'd be May,
Because
we're gonna talk about that.
We did do like
But this was
a December stipend as well, didn't we, or we didn't?
We did one in December.
This is from
And then, for the criteria, it gets us through May 20th, and then it'll take us time to
I was just wondering.
especially the substitute sector. We'll talk about it. We have double payroll and multi payroll, so it's kind of like lining.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor,
I
please
move.
say aye.
Oh, sorry.
We already,
Already moved.
already-
Second, sorry.
no, we already had
Yeah,
a
I know.
motion and a second.
Oh, that's right.
That
then you
was
asked for questions
discussion.
and I had questions.
Yeah, mine
Actually, you had questions and I had questions up there.
Okay. Can we vote on it now?
Yes, we can vote on it.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side. Thank you, motion passes. Okay, consider, that we did that, nothing under C and I. Here, one more thing.
Just so you know that, I want to thank you guys for being very flexible. I know as we're trying to really confirm all the end of the year activities and making sure we have the least amount of conflicts as possible. Things change. Jesse did a really great job of pulling events, or the department to pull the events. I know I sent that out to you guys in the email. Here's another one, and some of the events weren't included that you're going to get today to be at your place when we come back from the executive session. But it shows like some jazz competitions or performances. So I want to give you this. It runs through the end of April as well, and there's some really important aspects to this as well. Tomorrow is one of the identified half days where our students are released half day so that we can have planning time and opportunity aligned with our grading parameters to give teachers what they need to do the work in the classrooms, not working all weekend. And it was one of the ones that we approved to try to help motivate and encourage our teachers. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands tomorrow is a half-day release for our students. It's full-day employee, but our teachers get to have planning time. Also, May 3rd is our Brown Bag, and this room is going to be used for elections. So our May 3rd Brown Bag will be held at the portable, and of course, we'll send out reminders before we get there, but I wanted to mention that as well.
Okay.
And that's it, sir.
And my one thing is, I apologize for being late today. I left Whitty Museum at 4:45. I left the meeting 15 minutes early, and thought I'd have plenty of time, and the drizzle caused about 4 minor accidents on 35 on the way here. So,
Can I do one more,
thank you.
sir? I want to do a shout out to
Just
Castdale
one more.
Theater, One Act Play. They did a phenomenal job making it all the way to, I think it was area.
Oh, awesome.
MacArthur, and they did phenomenal, and really a lot of great actors really just kind of elevated from that campus. And so they did a phenomenal job. We're extremely proud of their theater prowess at a STEM high school.
Awesome. Okay. We will now go into closed session as permitted by sections 551-001-551.146 of the Texas Government Code at 7:14. Okay, ready to my right, ready to my left. 7:51, this meeting comes back to order. Let's go back to item 7. Is there a motion?
Oh, I move that we approve the superintendent's recommendation on personnel.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Other business.
Well, to give you guys the opportunity, if you want to, I know I took a shout out already, but before I do that, I'd like to take a point of privilege to recognize the newest doctorate in the house. She just finished defending her dissertation. Southwest alum, and now she makes us all call her Dr. Alum.
Congratulations, Samantha, very proud of you.
Congratulations.
So we'll definitely get a cake and celebrate it in the future.
Shout out to
I don't know
Mr.
if you guys want to say anything.
I'm gonna say shout out to Mr. Flores, for doing a great job at the Battle of the Bands, being a part of that committee and seeing everything come to fruition, and you being on that field was awesome.
It's amazing.
Especially love the yellow.
Anything else? No? 7:53.